Good afternoon and welcome back to Laurel Park. Thank you for joining us on this Sunday edition of Today at the Races. I'm Gabby Gaudette along with Stan Salter. Stan, how you doing? Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday to you. Lots going on yesterday. Just keeping up with all the races from all over the country. We had a couple nice stakes here yesterday. A big stake race we showed this morning from France, the Arc. But real quick, we had a great day here yesterday. They hit the pick six. They took down the pick six. Some lucky better out there took the rainbow pick six down for a little over 12,000. And trainer Mary Epler, she had a big day. Lovable Lady gets her third win in a row, winning the Politely yesterday.
Mary Epler's had a big weekend, period. She won 2 on Friday. She parlayed that on to 2 wins on Saturday, and looks like she's got a very, very nice mare on her hands in Lovable Lady. Lovable Lady, most recently, prior to yesterday's Politely, she won the Jamila, and that's a turf sprint stake. So she went from sprinting on the turf to winning on a sloppy sealed track. And speaking to the connections after the race, they're going to be pointing towards Maryland Million Day, perhaps the Maryland Million to staff. So it's always nice to have a versatile filly mare like that on your hands.
Yeah, she trained that horse's dam, and she's trained a lot of horses in that family and doing very well. And that's one of many local superstars pointing to Maryland's big day. It's right around the corner.
I
think
know.
like 3 weeks away. Maryland's Day at the Races, the Jim McKay Maryland Million. So I'm looking forward to it. And a Lovable Lady, one of many local horses aiming for it.
And mark your calendars there for October 22nd. But we also saw Chief Istan get the victory. Larry Jones really sending in an arsenal of horses to Laurel. And Chief Istan, he had never gone past 3/4, and he proved that he could stretch that speed out and actually rate under Gabriel Saez. An impressive victory yesterday.
Yeah, it sure was. We knew he'd like the off going. We saw that Preakness Day in an allowance race. And his speed carried the 7, went to the 7 furlongs yesterday. Maybe he can get even further, as impressive as we saw him win yesterday in a tough Chaladon. Some nice fields in there, and Sagamore Farm. Good to see a local owner part of that horse, Chief Istan.
And we showed the Arc de Triomphe from Chantilly earlier this morning. The race went off at 10:05, and talking about sights set on potentially the Breeders' Cup. In a few weeks, we saw Found, the filly, the 4-year-old filly in the Arc, get the victory. And Stan, that race has gone to a lot of fillies over the past couple of years. Obviously, Trev this year Found was the Breeders' Cup Turf winner last year. So really interested to see what they do with her looking forward.
Yeah, good to see a horse winning big races here. Go over there and beat the Europeans at their game on the turf. So a lot of fillies won that race over there in the Arc, as the fillies and boys run against each other all the time over there. They get a big weight advantage running in that race.
Especially 3-year-olds in that race going against elders too. And wanted to quickly mention, we saw some talent start off at Laurel Park, and that was Stellar Wind. She actually broke her maiden here at Laurel Park by, I think, over 8 lengths when she finally stretched out to 2 turns. We saw her take down the Mighty Beholder for the second time yesterday at Santa Anita in the Zenyatta.
Yeah, big win. Donnie Barr just started her off here in Maryland. They sold her for a bunch of money, and she's gone on to do wonderful things out there. Santa Anita, the great race place. They had a great card out there yesterday. How about California Chrome? Best horse in the world, still going strong. He won in a gallop yesterday.
And what even about Dortmund? Poor Dortmund has to play second fiddle to him every single time. He pressed him the entire way and still hung on. He wasn't deflated by any means, but California Chrome just too good, really, for the entire country. And he looks to be favorite of Horse of the Year honors, and he looks to definitely be favored in the Breeders' Cup Classic.
Yeah, look, you'll be down there for the Pegasus the Pegasus World Invitational in January, the world's new richest race, and California Chrome will be the favorite in there, the heavy favorite most likely, knock on wood. But the 6-year-old, I think it's going to change the whole dynamic of horse racing.
I hope so.
Most of the time you see the horses that win one of the classics, or Triple Crown winner like American Pharoah, they're done at the end of their 3-year-old year. California Chrome and maybe a lot of other top older horses will keep going to get to that $12 million race down there at Gulfstream.
Hats off to the connections and Art Sherman for just managing California Chrome so to perfection, because as you said, what would have been if he was retired after his 3-year-old season. We're very lucky that wasn't the case here. So some remarkable animals. This is a year for the the Breeders' Cup. When you think about it, the divisional honors too, California Chrome, Songbird, Beholder, Stellar Wind, and then you get to the turf. Tepin obviously found, Flincher, I know he was defeated yesterday, but lots and lots of things to look forward to in just a few weeks. But it's Sunday, and you know what Sunday is?
Lots going on out here. Chef Damon, he's up there whipping up Sunday brunch. We're gonna have to go up there and check it out. We have the Players Challenge where you can win money this week and you can qualify for that $5,000 guaranteed championship round. You can qualify each week. You can do 2 entries per week, and if you beat me, which has happened the first few weeks here, if you beat me, you earn an extra $500 Premier Player point. So it's a great contest. You have to sign up before race 5 today. The last 5 races of the card, you pick a horse, races 5 through 9. So go down to Guest Services for more information about that and to sign up, and check out the Premier Parlay as well. You have your football picks here.
You've been good at that.
I've hit it 2 out of the 3 weeks. You have to pick 3 NFL games, and we have the NFL Sunday Ticket, all the games up there, and tips and tycoons. You
This is
pick
what it
3.
looks like.
That's the Players Challenge, and here's the Premier Parlay. You pick 3 games, and you win the parlay. You double your Premier Player points, and no risk of losing points. So let's see, what's the line on the Ravens game here today? Oakland, we're favored by, looks like we're given 3.5. We're given 3.5 Ravens.
And the Redskins are playing at FedEx Field too, just down the road, going against Cleveland, I believe. So there's a lot of things to look forward to this Sunday afternoon.
What a sports month this could be here in October in this area. First of all, we have the Maryland Million coming up. The Orioles, very good shot at making the playoffs. So October baseball for the Orioles, October baseball for the Nationals, and by the way, the Redskins and the Ravens. So this could be the sports capital of the country, at least here this month of October.
It really is. We're very, very lucky to have so many things going on. Even in this area between Baltimore and DC, then you get into hockey, the Caps. There's just so much always going on within this region. But that's something to take a look at this afternoon. Once again, the Players Challenge. Go sign up for that and take advantage of that Premier Parlay as well. Try to beat the pro. And Stan, I'm going to take a stab at it. You're obviously taking a stab at it too. Let's get to our featured wagers. We don't have any carryovers today, Stan, but we do have plenty of betting opportunities. We start things off in race 1. That super high 5 will carry throughout the afternoon. Race 1 also kicks off the early pick 5. As we get into race 4, the Rainbow 6, and race 5 kicks off the late pick 5. We'll take a look to the track and weather conditions out there. It's a bit gloomy, but the rain has finally stopped for us. It was on and off throughout the afternoon. I remember interviewing Mary Epler in the winter circle there with our umbrellas, but that's gone away. It is a little bit overcast, but it's a nice day, and we are off the turf on the main track for our 9 races on tap.
All right, I'm ready. Get your mud handicap and pencils out, and let's roll here. You've been red hot with the pick 5s, early, late, doesn't matter. You've been all over the pick 5s recently, and I know you'll have a pick 5, early pick 5 starting here in the opener.
Yep, let's jump right into it. We'll take a look at that early pick 5 here, races 1 through 5, and I came up with a $48 ticket stand using 4 horses to start us off, including your 6-5 favorite right now, early money going to Jamie Ness off the claim. Followed up by the 4-5 with the 3-9, with the 4-6, and the 2-6-7 in the final leg. $48 will do it for me. We take a look at the $5,000 claiming event, 6 furlongs here on the main track. And Stan, I land on your early favorite right now, the 1 Money Tree. And honestly, when I first looked at this race, I thought it was kind of a bizarre claim. This is a horse who's been coming out of mediocre races at Penn National, not really doing anything of note. But he does go from a 7% trainer to a 23% trainer, and this looks like a savvy claim for trainer Jamie Ness.
Yeah, he's 28% off the claim or the positive ROI. They waited the 30 days. They claimed him for 5, waited the 30 days to go back in here for a nickel. So that's maybe a question mark. Was the beaten favorite last out in a race at Timonium? This race may be a little tougher. I respect the connections. Jamie Ness can turn this horse around, no problem. You get the leading rider of the meet, Trevor McCarthy. He'll be able to work out a good trip from the rail if this horse is ready to go. But I try to beat the favorite here in the opener. I'm going to go with the 2, Silver Prince at 15-1. 59-1. We won't get 63-1 that we got a couple races back when this gray horse came splashing home in the mud for trainer Marco Salazar. I met Marco Salazar that day. Nice new trainer here in Maryland. Gets Darius Thorpe aboard. So we know this gray gelding 6-year-old likes an off track. I like the big price. We're getting the weight off. I'll go with Silver Prince again at a big price. My long shot of the day to start off the pick 5.
And you go from a 7-pound apprentice to Darius Thorpe. Yeah. He can really get these long shots home, and this horse looks like one that has turned things around since the addition of blinkers. I like him. He likes an off track. I'll use him in the first leg of the early pick 5. But I think another horse to really take note of is a 5 Classic Wildcat, who last time on the main track did face Open Company, and that'll give him the advantage here. He's a horse with a lot of back class and looking for his 21st lifetime victory.
Yeah, Ben's Cat, not the only cool 10-year-old in the barn, a Hall of Famer, King T. Leatherberry. How about Classic Wildcat, looking for his 21st career win today, his 14th win here at Laurel Park. We know he likes an off track. He's been running on the turf recently. 5-2 Jevion Toledo aboard. I throw him in there because I like the connections, and I think this 10-year-old likes an off track, and that's certainly what we're going to get today.
Absolutely. Right now listed as Muddy Sealed. As we get to race 2, non-winners of 2 lifetime claiming event, in for that claiming price of $5,000, 5.5 furlongs onto the main track here. And you know, you look at this field, and there are a lot of horses who just recently broke their maiden. You have Delightful Storm, for Steve Casey, who just broke her maiden. We have the favorite to the outside, the 7 Wire Dancer, recently broke her maiden at Timonium. I'm going with a horse that has some experience against winners, and that is the 5 Maggie Wag, second off the claim for Kieran McGee, dropping from that $10,000 condition in for the $5,000 tag today. And I know it was a subpar performance. She really didn't do much running. It wasn't an encouraging performance, but I do think she will have the advantage from a class perspective.
Well, yeah, she's back to her level. That first race off the claim, that was for 10,000, 2 life, and she didn't run horrible in there. She had the inside post. That didn't help out. Race came up all right. The place horse uphill battle would come back to win, but Maggie Wag has a win on an off track, broke her maiden here on a good sealed track last March here at Laurel Park, got a respectable 44 buyer in there in that race, and then ran a couple good seconds against 75 Two Life Company here at Laurel Park last May and April, then tried the turf at Pimlico, got claimed at Timonium, ran decent at Timonium last race, too tough. I think this horse well spotted today for strong connections, a reliable 5-2 favorite, I think.
It looks like it's easy as 5-4-7 for us, the 4 Delightful Storm. Cold trifecta here. Delightful Storm, she recently broke her maiden. That was on the lead, and maybe they're going to revert back to that tactic today because it seemed like she did gain a whole new level of confidence on the lead. They did go very slowly for that distance, so I'm not so sure if she's going to be able to get away with that, but maybe she's a horse that actually just prefers the dirt. She spent a lot of time on the turf, but her 2 dirt races are actually okay enough to be competitive against this level.
Yeah, it looks like you hope the confidence is up now after the big maiden win at Timonium. The turf experiment didn't go well, but she's sharp right now on the dirt, and I think they'll use that in that early speed here and see if she likes the mud, give her a good shot, get her out there forwardly placed early on. So I like that horse, 6-1 price. We both like the 7 as well, Wire Dancer. This horse should get a nice stalking trip on the outside with David Amiss for trainer Wayne Potts.
And this horse will be well bet, but took a long time to break her maiden, and now she finally did. She's coming back against winners. I had a look against her overall with maiden winners last out on the dirt. Wayne Potts is only 3 for 30, 10% in a negative ROI, so potentially making her a bit vulnerable in race 2. As we turn the page to the third, 5.5 furlongs on the main track for this maiden claiming event. We have a few scratches in here, but I think the race really stays between 2 particular horses. Stan, you land on the 3 Charlie's Darling, one who is taking a drop in class from Maiden 25 Company last out.
Yeah, it was a beaten favorite last time. She's run 3 times for a tag after trying Maiden Special Weight Company a bunch of times. She does have an okay effort in the slop here at Laurel Park last September against Maiden Special Weight Company, going 2 turns in the slop, was 4th that day. with a respectable 62 buyer. She's run a bunch since then. She's fresh now, coming off the summer layoff here for trainer Larry Murray. Some decent works here at Laurel Park. She's dropping another notch here to the maiden 16. Finds a soft spot here today. 0 for 2 in the mud, but I thought that race last September on a sloppy track against better company, good enough to win here. Kevin Gomez, top 5 leading rider here this fall at Laurel.
My only issue with Charlie's Darling is his lack of early speed sprinting. He just doesn't have it, and a lot has to go his way in order for him to rally, pick up the pieces, and get that favorable pace scenario that he wants in front of him. So I do respect him, but I'm going in a different direction. A horse who I think has a little bit more positional speed, and that is the 9 Triple Blackjack. Trevor McCarthy aboard for trainer Franny Campitelli. And this horse has sprinted in his past 2 starts this year on the turf, but now it goes back to the dirt where he was facing Maiden Special Weight Company. So this is a significant drop from Maiden Special Weight Company for the 16,000. And in those Maiden Special Weights, he showed a little bit of speed, which I think is encouraging.
Yeah, didn't run bad at all. Some tough races there. Gray Fox, Joseph, Tempt Me Twice, Grecian Prince. So he's been running against better. The rider change here. Trevor McCarthy takes Trevor McCarthy's going to ride the 9 for Franny Campitelli. I might have overlooked this horse a little bit. I use him third. Him third. I respect the connections. A horse you have to have on your early pick 5 ticket at 4 to 1.
And a horse who probably will be the speed is the 12 Tis Deja Slew, who draws outside and has experience on an off track before, most recently over the sloppy seal track where he did show some speed, but that was from the rail post position, and now he draws an outside post with speed. And I think this could be a danger once again with some of the horses scratching in the body of the race. All 3 horses off the also eligible draw in.
Yeah, the 12's going to get a nice trip. Horacio Caramanos won the Politely yesterday, so he's having a big weekend. This filly's been knocking on the door. We've liked her for a few races now. She finally gets a good outside post. Ran well enough on the slop, 2 back with the better post today. She'll be right there. That's why I use her second. Nice 6 to 1 price on the 12.
All right, we get to the 4th on the card, an open $11,000 claimer, 5.5 furlongs on the dirt. And this does kick off the 20-cent Rainbow 6. They took it down yesterday, but Stan, you're going to dive right back into it.
Yeah, and it wasn't too tough yesterday. Congratulations to the person who hit it. That's a nice $12,000 score on a Rainbow Pick 6. That was hittable. My on-air ticket we gave out for $80. This was 5 out of 6. Didn't have the winner in the last race, but your late Pick 5 hit it. So let's jump in here to the Rainbow Pick 6. Let's take a look at my ticket today. $36 play for my Rainbow Pick 6 ticket. I'm going to use the 1, 3, 4, 7 in race 4. Going 3 deep in race 5 and 6. King on the 6 in race 7 for this Pick 6 that you see there on the screen. $36 play, and I'll key on the 6 in race 7. And then my best bet of the day is the 1, Retire 55 in race 8. Then I'll go 5 deep in the last leg. So an affordable $36 play for the Rainbow Pick 6 starts right here. Nice open 11 claimer in race 4.
You had 2 singles in the sequence yesterday, Stan, and I'm impressed because both of those singles delivered, and that is not easy to do. Unfortunately, you were out in the last leg of the sequence, but, you know, you see 2 singles up there. It looks intimidating, but you're more than capable of pulling it off. $36, very affordable. So, you know, this is a base Pick 6. If you like another horse, go ahead, throw him in, and it won't cost you much. As we get to the 4th, it does start that Pick 6. And looking at the field, Stan, we have the 4 Joe Tess, who will go back and take a look at this horse's most recent replay, actually, a few starts back. And this was back on actually April 9th. When we most recently saw him go against 12 Stone. Now, once again, 12 Stone, unfortunately, is a scratch out of this race. But Joe Tess, he's very fast. He fits this condition well. He's a horse to beat, but he's also probably going to be a short price, especially with these scratches.
Yeah, has great off-track form, 5 or 6 in the money with a couple wins. This was a sharp second against Open 11, same condition as today's was going. That race was going 7 furlongs, big cutback. The furlong and a half cutback to this 5.5. He's running 5.5 last out, but that was a good 7/8 effort there. We see that same kind of effort today, going 5.5. Joe Tess going to be very tough to beat for a barn who's red hot. Hugh McMahon, red hot this fall at Laurel Park. So my top pick, 2-1. I'm chalking it up here in the first leg of the pick 6.
I respect him. I'm going to try to beat him with kind of an outlier in the 6 Rapid Rouge. Charlie Frock claims this horse off of Mike Jones last time out, and you look at his races at Belmont. He was really dominating against Open Company, and I thought those races were a lot tougher. Now, I know he was a beaten favorite last time out. He was 70 cents of the dollar, but kind of a weird move in that, you know, they kind of sent him. They wanted to get him to the lead, and then he faded. I don't even know. I know he's won going wire to wire. I don't know if that's his preferred running style. I think he's a little bit more versatile. I hope he doesn't go with Joe Tess, because if he does, I don't think he's naturally as fast as Joe Tess. But sometimes we see rider Al Cortez, kind of a send-him type of rider from the gate. So hopefully he can get this horse into position. He's got back races to beat this field today.
The Panamanian Hall of Famer, Al Cortez, in the saddle. 6-1 is a nice price there. Beaten favorite last out, so that's why I just kind of wanted to wait and see how he runs first off the claim. But solid off-track form, 6 for 11 in the money with a couple wins. But I overlooked that one. I have the 7 in the exacta from the outside. I think Dixie Deputy with Steve Hamilton will get a nice outside stalking trip. This horse, 3 wins from 4 starts on an off track. The last time we saw him at this level, Open 11 claimers at Pimlico, he whistled that day. He got a 72 buyer, so I think the 7 Dixie Deputy should get a very nice trip stalking on the outside today.
He loves an off track. 3-time winner out of 4 starts on a wet surface. And, you know, we aren't expecting any rain throughout this afternoon, so, you know,
we had enough yesterday.
We did have enough yesterday, but what I was alluding to was that it's going to be dry. The track is going to be drying out throughout the afternoon, so something to really pay attention to when you are handicapping those multi-race sequences like the Pick 6 that does start in race 4. But with race 4 in the books, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll talk about the late Pick 5.
Next January, 12 horses, $1 million buy-in for a $12 million purse. It is the world's richest race. It is the Pegasus World Cup.
That is the Pegasus World Cup. Looking forward to it this January down at Gulfstream. And as we just saw California Chrome win the Awesome again yesterday, pointing towards the Breeders' Cup, hopefully pointing towards the Pegasus World Cup. Lots going on in the next couple of months, but lots going on in the latter half of today's card as well. Race 5 does kick off the late Pick 5. Sam, we took it down yesterday. Can we do it again?
Nice job.
Can
Yeah,
we do
you
it
gave
again?
out the on-air early Pick 5 on Friday, paid over $1,400. Your late Pick 5 yesterday on-air ticket hit. It paid over $500 yesterday. So that's a nice score for tickets that are costing under. You know, we normally keep them in the $50, $60 range. Pick 5s have an industry low 12% takeout. So the bet of the day here, the Pick 5s always at Laurel Park.
That's why I love turf racing, but don't shy away from off the turf racing, because there is so much value to be had. And when you do a little digging, you can take these Pick 5s, Pick 6s down, as we saw yesterday afternoon. But here is my late Pick 5. This one's a little bit more expensive. I had a tough time with the late Pick 5 sequence. Again, the early Pick 5 is $48. Late Pick 5 is a $72 ticket. 3 horses in the first leg, the 2, 6, and the 7. 4 deep in race 6. Just using 2 horses in both legs, 7th and the 9th race, 3, 6, and the 6, 8, using 3 horses in the 8th as well, the 3, 5, and the 6. So, I didn't use your best bet of the day. I'm kind of concerned about that, Stan, and we'll get to that in a little bit. But we started off with a nice maiden special weight on the main track at 5.5 furlongs. And, you know, I'm taking a little bit of a shot here with the 7, Gimme Kimmy. First-time starter out of the Bill Comlo barn, a nice 3-year-old filly, By Discreetly Mine, out of a Touch Gold mare. which makes this filly a have to. I play every day. A horse that can run on anything.
Yeah, and the mare's been a nice producer. This is a well-bred Maryland bred for the M&D stable. Loyal breeders and owners here in Maryland. They've had a couple nice horses here with Bill Comlo. It's kind of it's a family affair here with M&D stable, the Comlo barn. So some nice works here at Laurel Park. Doesn't have to ship for the debut. Gets the leading rider of the meet, Trevor McCarthy, to take the call on this first timer. So you have to take note of that. I respect the horse. You're picking a horse on top. I like it 10-1. I use her second, but I'm looking forward to this. Maybe not Maryland Million, but maybe if they open it up to Maryland Breds on Maryland Million Day, possibly eligible for that race. But I'm excited to see this first timer debut today.
And maybe she won't win first time out. You know, sometimes we see Bill Comlo's horses, they have a tendency to maybe need 1 or 2 races. Overall, with maiden special weight first time starters on the dirt, he is 0 for 8, but he's 50% in the money, so they do run well. They just don't always find the winner circle. But I do like the pedigree on this horse, and I like the fact that Trevor McCarthy is named to ride. The 2 Dream Your Dreams is who you're going to opt for. She debuted on the turf, but now gets to the dirt, and she was entered in for main track only.
Main track only, so you have to take note of that. The barn thinking this horse will like the main track. She's by Tatr, so she's bred to be any kind out of a Gone West mare. She was bet down to about 7-5 in the debut. A tough maiden special weight sprinting on the grass back in July. Sazerac Girl was a sharp winner that day. The second place horse, Truly Bound, would come back to win. So she got beat 14 lengths there as a heavy favorite. They've gone back to the drawing board. Some nice works here at Laurel Park, some bullet works for this comeback race. The barn does well with horses coming off of freshening. Victor Carrasco stays aboard. I'm not crazy about the inside post. She might get buried down there a little bit in the mud, but she's by Tappet, and I'm expecting to see a big improvement today on the 2 Dream Your Dreams.
It's very weird that they debuted her on the turf because of her pedigree. She is by Tappet. She's out of that Gone West mare, but she's a half to Frost Giant, who is obviously the sire, won the Grade 1 Suburban too, so some very nice pedigree for that 3-year-old filly. And of course we get the 6 Sarah's Treasure, who I think is a must-use for obvious reason. She has the experience edge over some of these horses who have never tried a main track or have never raced in general, so she turns back in distance and looks like one that needs pace. Dan, we'll get to the 6th, though, on the card, a $5,000 claiming event, 6 furlongs onto the main track. And I think this race, actually, you could make a case for maybe 4 or 5 horses in here. I like your top selection. I think we both kind of have the feeling that perhaps the 7 Boon Companion might be a bit vulnerable as the 9-5 favorite.
And well, so I'll go with the second choice here, the 8 Heavenly Haze with Al Cortez riding for trainer John J. Hartzell. The beaten favorite the last 2 times, so I'm a little concerned about that, but the last effort, a winning effort, going 7 furlongs, cutting back to 6 furlongs here, that's pretty big. I like that win 3 back. That was here at Laurel Park in a nickel 2 life condition. I was on a good racetrack, went right to the front that day, won by 4.5 with the 10-pound apprentice, so I think Cortez can use his early speed on the outside to be the controlling speed. We know the horse likes an off track. He's in good form for trainer John Hartzell, so I'll use the 8 on top.
The way I saw the race, I thought there was a lot of speed in here. We saw the 2 Macho Spaces go to the lead in the past 2 starts. Stormy Invasion isn't slow. Twisted Earl definitely isn't slow. And then we have your top selection out there, Heavenly Haze, who isn't slow. So I think there's going to be a contentious pace here and could set up for my long shot in the 6 Slide By You. Again, gets lots of pace, is a 2-time winner on an off track, cutting back from 7/8 last time out, and is just a stone cold closer, but does seem to get the preferred setup.
Oh, you'll get a nice price here. 12-1. Does have 2 wins on an off track, and they both came here at Laurel Park. So I like your pick there. I root for Leo Nokampian. Horse been in off form the past couple races, but if there's a lot of speed up front early on, this horse could be sliding home in the mud at a nice price.
Okay, and you go to the 8. Of course, the 7 Boon Companion is the horse to beat, dropping from $16 to the $5,000 tag. Was recently claimed by Kieran McGee for $10,000. This just kind of looks like a get-out race.
Yeah, we've seen Kieran do this before, and a lot of times they win as a short price favorite on the drop. This is the horse to beat, but I'll try to beat her and use him second. He's a colt. Maybe he needs to be cut. They're dropping him to a
Let's not
nickel.
get into that discussion again.
Well, they're dropping him
Stan.
to a nickel. I mean, come on. But no, I respect the connections. Horse to beat on paper.
Okay, that is race 6, excuse me, as we turn our attention to the 7th and $35,000 claiming event. This kicks off the final pick 3 of the day, going the 1-turn mile to that second wire finish as well. And we have a little bit of a replay here for Super Check, and we'll go back to it here. And this was at Delaware. Super Check actually went against Big Joe Candy that day. Big Joe Candy got the better of this 3-year-old colt. And then you look at the discrepancy in the odds today, which I think are right. Super Check's 7-2, whereas Big Joe Candy is 6-1. I think Big Joe Candy is going to turn the tables once again on Super Check.
I have Super Check on top. He's one of my key horses on the pick 6 ticket. I like the barn here. Trainer Mike Gorham. Trevor McCarthy is going to ride his 3-year-old son of Uncle Mo. Sharp win going wire to wire last out at Delaware. The one lone try on an off track came last February in the debut race against Maiden Special Weight Company. Horse steadied early, came with a 6-wide rally. Good third in a tough race. Pismo timed the winner that day. So I think Super Check likes the off track, in good form right now, be forwardly placed, and likes this mile distance as well.
Okay, I'm still thinking Big Joe Candy's going to turn the tables on him just like he did on the 25th of August. And Big Joe Candy has never tried an off track, but he's definitely bred for it by Candy Ride out of a deputy minister mare. And last time out, well, he was the beaten favorite, but he dwelt so badly there was no hope from then on. And after that, Stan, we saw the winner Freelander go wire to wire in a slow pace. He couldn't make up the ground that he lost when he didn't break well. So Timothy Kreiser ships in with Angel Rodriguez, and I'm hoping Big Joe Candy can get the money today. But beyond that, we're kind of all over the map in this race, Stan. You like the 2 a little bit. How's your sugar to the inside for Gary Capuano?
Caramano's aboard this 3-year-old for Gary Cap. Likes this mile distance, 1 win from 5 starts at the mile. I thought a good third last time in a tough starter race over there at Timonium. I like the barn, 9-2 price. So that's all I have on the 2. How's your sugar? I like the name.
Steele. How about how's your sugar and Big Joe Candy Exacta? That would be kind of fun.
There you go. A little
right?
candy and a little sugar. Exactly. I think when I was handicapping this race, don't forget the sugar. Don't forget my sugar. 35-1 winner I had at Rosecroft Thursday night. So I think it's right around the same. I handicapped this race Friday morning. So
Good.
How's your sugar? Don't forget my sugar. It's all
Feeling
good. Nice
sugary.
9-2 price for strong connections here.
I'll use the 9 Steel Sky kind of as a price play in here for David Nunn. With this horse, you see the pedigree, even the score, capable on the dirt. You see on the bottom side, the mare was a 3-time dirt winner. This horse has run a 71 by her speed figure in the past on the main track, and that was in his younger years. So perhaps he can transition that speed and form to the main track today. That is race 7 as we turn our attention to the 8th, the first half of the late daily double here, a mile and a 16th for our feature race of the day. Nice 2 other than allowance. This is where your best bet of the day comes in that I didn't use him in the late pick 5. What's wrong with me? Why do you like him so much?
Well, you're helping me out with the odds, hopefully. 3-1, maybe, since you didn't. Maybe I can give him 7-2, 4-1. That'd be a great price here on this 5-year-old for trainer Claudio Gonzalez, who's this horse. He has retired 55 in top form right now. J.D. Acosta aboard. Acosta was aboard 3 back, a nice win on the turf at Parks, and then most recently a very sharp win against Allowance Company at Timonium, going 3 turns, mile and a 16th there. Got a strong 78 buyer. This horse is 5 for 6 on an off track with the win. Likes Laurel Park, likes this distance. I think J.D. Acosta will be able to save ground on the inside and get a nice stalking trip, maybe laying 3rd or 4th early on, and maybe sneak right up the rail like Crooked did yesterday. Retire 55, my best bet.
We could see that happen. I went against him because I thought even though he was victorious last time out at Timonium, I thought it came up a relatively easy field versus his competition today. Prior to that, he lost at Penn National as the favorite behind Big House, who was beaten 5-7 lengths against a other than company here at Laurel. So I'm looking elsewhere, this is an odd horse to like because he's 3 for 45, but this is a 3 true Greek, Edgar Prado in the saddle. I'm going to give this horse one last shot. They freshened him since early August. He hasn't won on an off track, but he's run figures that would make him competitive on an off track against this field. And am I I right that he just can go in and out of form? I know he's a deep closer, but it does look like this race should have an honest pace in it.
He had a sharp win at Pimlico coming from off the pace on the turf. Hasn't ran back okay on the turf most recently. The allowance race last out at Laurel, a tough race. 0 for 3 on an off track, 0 for 21 here at Laurel Park. So I guess that's what makes me look elsewhere. But you're getting a nice price with the Hall of Famer Prado aboard for a good barn.
Maybe I'm crazy, I don't know. But he was, you look at the company lines, he was beaten by John Jones most recently, who was maybe one of the better Maryland breds that we've seen so far this season. So I go with True Greek with a price, but I wanted to talk about the 5 Just Jack, because this is a horse who is looking to stretch his speed for the first time, going 2 turns on the main track. We'll go back and show his race that he won. This was first time out for trainer Hammy Smith, and he did everything right, everything that you wanted to see in a horse. He's very nicely bred. He's got a lot of speed, maybe bounced a little bit last time out in the Laurel Dash, but he's versatile. Can he stay the distance?
Just Jack, I've liked this horse on the turf recently, but the debut win was very impressive. We saw him on an off track, and that allowance win, the allowance race last May at Pimlico. That was on a good racetrack. I thought the race came up very tough that day. Colonel Sharp, the winner. Just Jack, he hasn't run any bad races. I don't think. The Laurel Dash last out, he was had a wide trip that day. Still a respectable journey. So I like the horse. I like the connections. I use him third.
Okay, the 2 Music Critic is another one who most recently, the last time we saw him on the dirt, he did win, and that was on a sloppy sealed surface. But I think he does meet tougher today.
Does meet tougher, but that was a sharp win. Got a 74 buyer, 2 back in the slop here at Laurel Park. So the barn's going very well. Jevion Toledo will get a ground saving trip here on this horse. We'll get a nice 6-to-1 price on this 6-year-old.
I get with the nightcap yesterday with Cold Spice, right?
Yeah, the same connections, Toledo and Lacey. Yep.
Yep. So let's hope that history can repeat itself there in race 8. We'll turn the page to the 9th and final race on this Sunday Fun Day program, a maiden $10,000 event, 5.5 furlongs onto the main track. And this is a race where you either like the favorite or you try to make a case for someone else to go against. Dan, you go to the 8 My Adeline for trainer Kim Boniface, who is taking a drop in class from higher level maiden claimers.
Yeah, so a deserved 7-5 favorite here. Yes, this 3-year-old filly by Girolamo. She's been the beaten favorite her last 2 starts, but it takes another little drop here. We did see her in the slop in her debut race last May at Delaware in a tough maiden special weight race that day. She had an inside post, a good second that day. That was probably the best race she's ever run in the slop. So if she runs anything close to that against maiden 10 here, she'll be very tough. I like the rider change as well. We're getting one of the top riders here, Horacio Caramanos, to take the call here today. She'll have a nice outside stalking trip. So I think the deserved favorite, you respect her, you use her second. I don't blame you for trying to beat her with a 12-to-1 price on top.
She's been the beaten favorite in the past 2 starts. I have a little feeling that she might be the beaten favorite once again today. So I'm going to the 6 class terms to pull the upset, 12-to-1 on the morning line for trainer Larry Murray and Angel Cruz in the saddle. This filly has only tried the dirt 1 time, and that was coming off a September 2015 layoff to February 2016. So a sizable layoff there, and not to mention she was bumped from both sides coming out of the gate and just couldn't really recoup after that beginning on her lone dirt try. That was against maiden claimers, but I think we're going to see a better performance from her today, now coming off the turf onto the main track.
You'll get a nice price. Angel Cruz having a nice maiden, he's top 5, but that effort against maiden 8 last February here at Laurel, she didn't run a lick that day. She's run a little bit better on the turf since.
With excuse.
She
was bumped.
She was bumped there. All right,
I watched it. She was sandwiched by 2 horses.
And had a bad inside post. That was only her second start. We're getting a journeyman rider today. Had the summer off for a barn that can get a horse ready off the layoff. So you'll get a nice price. I don't use her, but we both like the 2 Northern Prancer down there on the inside. Now we could get a nice price on this horse because of the last 2 races, which really wasn't her fault. First of all, Mary Epler trains this 4-year-old filly, so she's not going to lead the horse over here unless the horse is right and ready to go. The race 2 back, the rider fell off. Wasn't her fault. And then the race on the turf last April, just nothing went right that day. And I think Laura Lee Glazier, compliment to her. She took care of the filly, protected her. They've given her the summer off. Some nice works here. Kevin Gomez aboard today. We might get a nice price because of those last 2 melees on her form.
Well, the way this weekend's been going, leave Mary Epler off your tickets at your own
Yep.
peril. So that's a very interesting race for the nightcap today. But that's about it for you and I. It's 12:30. We've got to get out of here. Dave Rodman is up next with those scratches and changes. But thank you once again for joining us here on Today at the Races, and best of luck Sunday Fun Day at Laurel Park.
Football picks.